All right, so before we get back to what we were talking about, if we add one flat, so we have, let's say, the key of G Ionian, if we have one flat, which is the 7th flat, now we have a mixolydian. Okay, if we flat the 3 flat, now it becomes a Dorian of the key of F. Even though F doesn't have 2 black keys, it has 1 black key, but now it has 2 flats. So it's a little complicated there. It can be a little tricky, rather. It's not complicated. So let's go back to where we were here, which is right here. So we're looking for this redundancy here. We're in the C box, we're in the C cage. Or the diatonic, the pentatonic, the arpeggio, the triad. Now C has all of the triads. You know, happy days are here again. All right, you know. Okay, it has all the triads. Pretty much so does G, but it doesn't have everything that C has. So anyway, getting back to what we were talking about, we're looking for this redundancy here in the C shape. What are we doing? What different qualities of the C shape? We want to take on these three. This is the crux. This is the crux of the lesson. And of course, we're also adding the 7 flat here. The crux of the lesson is the 2 flat, 6 flat, 3 flat, and 7 flats. What are their effects on the minor chords? Because remember, adding the 3, we also added the 7. We have the 7. Adding the 6, we have the 7 and the 3. It's just the way that this little chart works. Okay? Now, as if it wasn't complicated enough, but this isn't really a complication. It's more of it makes it easier. When we want to make a C minor shape here, the arpeggio, so it's 5, root, 3 minor. So we're not doing this anymore. We're doing this. It's kind of a difficult one to play because when we start adding these flats here, we become very concerned with what are the open strings. We don't want to, if we added the 3 flat, we wouldn't want to play this 3 natural. Okay, so we have to be careful of that. Now we're going to the E shape from the get-go, so we're going to be changing the bar and bringing the bar up here. So right there, that rules out that 3 here, because we're bringing on the 4 here with all these sharps and flats, but we've got action fingers above them in the E shape. So there's the E shape when we add. We go to the key of the 4th, the shape's going to be E. Now look at these, E, A, D, G, C. E, A, D, G, C. We're going backwards in the circle of 5th shapes. Remember, caged, let's just do a quick review here. Cage is C, little a, G, little e. I know it's hard to read, but it's an old chart. It's an old concept, so you know it's basic and fundamental to this stuff and worth knowing. I don't know if it's worth knowing. Yes, it is. No, it isn't. Stop arguing. You stop arguing. Okay. C, A, G, E, D. C, A, G, E, D. Going in, that's the circle. The 5th, skip a letter in cage, you go to the 5th. The 5th at C is G, the 5th of G is D, the 5th of D is A, the 5th of A is E. But in the cage shape guitar world system, we are looking at the fifth of E is C. So now we're going backwards of the circle of fifths, because remember, that's the strings, but going backwards in the circle of fifths, and just as we're going down the strings, this would be going string shapes, going up the strings. These are string shapes. That's not the subject of this lesson, that the string shapes go from C to the G string shape, to the D string shape, 2, 3, 4, to the short A string shape 5, 6, to the E string shape, and to the C string shape again on top. When we go back down, they go in fourths, string shape fourths, not perfect fourths, because you know when you go have a perfect fourth interval, okay, so you have E, the fourth of E is A, but the fifth of A is E, so it goes back down in fifths in string intervals, but in string shapes it goes down in fourths. So we're going this way. So in fourths we go C, E, A, D, G. Now let's look what we have here. We're starting from E, A, D, G, C, E, A, D, G, C. So every time we add a flat to the white keys, let's say in the key of C, I'm going to stay in the key of C. Always learn it in your favorite key first. Or if you can make C your favorite key, like if you're a piano player, then learn it in that before you go transposing it, but it does work in the other keys, and that's why I have these numbers here. 4, 7 flat, 3 flat, 6 flat, 2 flat. I know they're hard to read a little bit, because depending on what key you're in, you just take the fourth scale member becomes the new key. So if it's E, the fourth scale number is A. The fourth of A is fourth of E is the key of A. The fourth of C is the key of F. That's going to be an E-shaped F. So we're going here, key of F. So we got C, starting out here. C, not off the chart. C, C-shaped C. Fourth of C-shaped C is an E-shaped F. A-shaped B flat. That's the fourth of the fourth. The fourth of that one is a D-shaped D flat. And the fourth of that one is a G-shaped A flat. Okay, so there's the key, 6 flat. That's your A flat right there. And then you take the fourth of that, and now you're going to be a half step up. We're going around that circle of 60, right? We're just starting to get past 12 noon, and maybe almost 1 o'clock now. Okay, so that's D flat, key of D flat. Here's your D flat. Okay, we're up a little bit. So that's how that works. And then when we go to the C, the diminished shape, we take an A flat and diminish that shape. But we're not going to do that. We're going to focus on, you can completely diminish that shape and drop it down one. Whoa. You drop it down one. So it's the blue-gray color. So here's your actual C shape. Your C-shaped D flat. Okay, and as you know, C is the low Korean 7th of D flat. So it goes all 5 flats, okay? So that, you know, you'd start down here and you'd go like. All right, so that was just a little F4E, because remember E is 7 root 2. All right, so we're coming up on the end of this segment. Let's not break in the middle of an important point. So we're looking at the C. We have our redundancy. This is the same C minor. Important point right here. We have 20 seconds for this. Instead of struggling with this C minor 5 root 3 flat, 6 flat, 2 flat, 4, we're going to just move it up to an A minor shape in a caged advance. C goes to A, C minor goes to A minor. It's going to be 5